drinking a healthy drink. It's not going to just impact you the first day. You're not going to be slim the first day, but over time, as you keep doing it, the consistency, it definitely helps. And I think that helps to help them know that we love them as parents, right? And then also that they can do anything they put their mind to.
Welcome to the Brand Hustlers Podcast, where innovation meets ambition and stories of success inspire the next generation of business leaders. Each episode, we dive into the journeys of those who hustle, those who make their dreams a reality, and those who are shaping the future of business. Whether an aspiring entrepreneur, a seasoned business owner, or simply a dreamer with a vision, you're in the right place. So get ready to ignite your passion, learn from the best, and transform your ideas into action. This is where your brand story begins. Welcome, Brand Hustlers. What's good, Brand Hustlers? It's your boy Ryan Roundtree, also known as Tree the Creator, and we are back again with another episode of the Brand Hustlers. And today we're here with my man Flex. That's what we call him. You see this arm popping through that jacket. But I'm not going to do too much of the introduction. We're just going to get into the questions. And we're going to go from there. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself. So what's your name? What do you do? And what led you in the direction of doing this?
Okay. My name is Felix. So
Flex.
They call me Flex. That's the nickname that, kind of came about, however it came about. But
however it came about.
It was me. So, my name is Felix. My last name is Ketuyi, as you see right here. Ketuyi Jr. I'm a junior. And I've been in the insurance industry now for 10 plus years, almost 11 years this August. And I started in the insurance industry. I actually had no intentions to get in the insurance industry. So I used to sell cars for a good amount of time. And, I didn't see a career in that path. So I decided to explore some other options. And my wife, at that time, she said, I think her mom or her dad has State Farm. So, she was just like, hey, why don't you just apply to State Farm? And I'm like, I was a little hesitant, and then I went ahead and applied for the position. So I used to work for another agent, so I was a representative for that agency. And then I set a goal 3 years in. I wanted to open up my own agency. And 3 years later, after that, I opened up my own agency. So I left in 2016 to open up my own office.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and here we are now. So
ultimately, besides the encouragement of your wife to apply here, like what made you decide to turn a corner to open your own, to create your own opportunity, so to speak?
Create my own legacy. Creating my own legacy for the kids, for my family, kind of being in control of my time, being able to manage that, each and every day. I mean, it's not always easy, but being able to manage my time and manage and kind of do things, go the route that I wanted to go. And that doesn't mean that I was unhappy or, when I was working, I was very happy. I even still talk to the individual I used to work for. He lives out in Pennsylvania now. We talk all the time. But really just being in control. I think that was the biggest thing for me, being in control of my time and structuring my day how I wanted and building and creating a legacy that I can leave on, for my kids and my son.
Okay. So legacy building, that's definitely, that's top tier for me. And what do you, beyond the legacy building, what are you hoping that your kids learn from you in this experience, or is it something that you want them to take on themselves? Like, what do you see project for them? I'm not saying we can tell the future, but
I'll say a little bit of both. So, I mean, if my son decides it's funny because my dad, Felix Sr., he was an insurance broker. And, when I was younger, I was like, I would never in my life do insurance. And I always say that. I'm like, no way you would catch me doing this. And here I am, right? So, it's funny, my dad, he passed away in 2021. But when he was alive, thank you, man. When he was alive, we always joked about that. I was like, I never even thought in a million years I would be an insurance broker, agent, whatever you want to call it. And here I am now. But if my son decides he wants to do that, I would definitely support him. But I think the biggest thing is for them, just helping them understand and see that when you want something, going after it. And, if you have a dream, you want to accomplish something. And even if, them being younger, he was a lot younger when I first started, but him just still seeing the progress, a lot of times it's funny because people will ask me, even on Instagram, like, you still do insurance? You still do insurance? I'm like, yeah, I still do insurance. What do you mean, do I still do insurance? Not that it's a bad thing, but I guess sometimes people, whatever they're doing is maybe it's not sustainable, or they just didn't stay in that position for a long period of time. And I have no desires to get out of insurance. So again, to teach my son just about longevity of sticking with something. There's nothing wrong with change, but sticking with something even through the good times and through the bad, to build whatever you're looking to build for the future. So
okay, so I think what a lot of people may be, I would say, projecting, and I know for myself, even at a point like being involved with Primerica, and it's more is. Well, I'm not sure what the structure of, getting to the State Farm business, but it was like, of course, you get that call from a friend you ain't seen in a long time. It's like, hey, man, how you been? I want to catch up. Next thing you know, you're in a meeting. So, but with that, it was, I probably did Primerica for like 2 months. You know what I mean? So it was like, when I think, insurance or whatever. And then plus I probably was like 19, 20. I was like really trying to still trying to feel things out. And you see the people that are doing great in it. And then it's kind of like, okay, I can do this. But then it's like, I really don't have the drive for this, Especially it was like, there was a whole lot of no's, it was a whole lot of, trying to convince people. And at that time, I'm going to say I didn't have it in me, but there's a certain level of sales that comes into it, or a certain level of just showing up. There's a certain level of showing up at that time. So I think that's what people may be projecting. You've been now being in the insurance business 10 years. What would you say some of your biggest hurdles have been? Like some of those things that may have like made you be like, you know what? I don't know if I want to do this anymore.
This might sound a little cliche, but I've never really gotten to that point. I don't think I've ever gotten to that point where I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Things get tough. When I first started, I was doing a lot of the stuff by myself. My first year in business, it was just like, I had a team of folks, but they were new. I started as a scratch. We call it a scratch agent, where you start off with 0 clients. You come in, so, all we're doing was the phones weren't ringing for people to call in and make payments and all those things. So we had to go out and go hustle. And, it wasn't like I never expected to sit back with my feet up and just expect my team. No, that's not, that's not the type of person that I am. So, leading by example, especially that first year, things got difficult because balancing and managing your time, where sometimes you're doing a whole lot of, you're focusing on one area and then you start forgetting the other areas. And then, but I guess to answer your question, I wouldn't say that I never really got to a point where I was like, I can't do this anymore. But sometimes, taking a step back and really trying to reevaluate, multiple times, like, okay, what am I doing? Like, I need to give less time here and more time there, but really just time management and even with team too. I mean, that became a frustrating thing at one point, where trying to find the right people. They weren't bad people that were in and out my first couple of years of agency, but just finding the right people that fit into the team culture. That's the big thing. That was I would probably say that was one of the biggest challenges, was the team culture, because the team culture will make or break a team, just like a basketball team, anything else, any team in general. The team culture will make or break that team. And if you don't have the right team in place, no matter how great they are, you're not going to succeed.
Right.
So,
sure.
Yeah.
So cool. So I hear you talking about teams, right? So you coach, right?
I do. I do.
Coach. I'm guessing that this business has allowed you to control your time a little bit better. What do you coach, and why are you coaching now?
I coach basketball for AAU team, DMV Hoop Stars. I coach the 11U team. So my son is 11. He just turned 11 in December. So I coach that team, and doing it about a year and a half now, almost 2 years actually. So my son used to play rec ball, county ball, and the coach for his county ball team at that time, again, that was another one that people, over the years, it was always like, oh, you should coach basketball, knowing that, I used to play, high school or whatever. That was about it. I didn't play college or nothing like that. But
was you good or you all right?
I was good. I'm still good. I just don't hoop as much, but I'm still good enough. I think I'm still good enough. I can compete.
You ain't coaching because some days say coaches wasn't necessarily,
right.
wasn't good. They coached because they wasn't good. But that's not your story, is it?
No, it's not my story. It's not my story. Like I said, there's a lot of people that again, that I'm a lot better. But again, when you're an athlete, especially basketball, no one is ever going to be like, oh yeah, he's better than me, right? I always feel like, listen, we're gonna have to check up. You're not better than me, but you're not like I don't care. Right? You're not disrespecting me. You're gonna have to beat me, but and I'll give you your props. But I'm not gonna flat out say, oh, he's better than me. So, but as far as the coaching aspect, I mean, like I said, I got into it, the county ball thing, and the coach at that time. Funny, I was just texting him right before I came in here. We were talking about the games that we had this weekend, but he asked me about being his assistant coach at that time, transitioning into the AAU thing. So that was really how I got started into it. I started as his assistant for a couple months, maybe a season or two. I think it was 2 seasons, and then transitioned because my son was probably the youngest on the team at that time. So I stayed. He moved up to the next bracket, which was 12U, and then I stayed back at 11U because my son was technically 10 going on 11. Mm-hmm. So then I started to build a team around him. My son,
beast, huh?
He's a beast. He's a beast. I'm hard on him, but and I make sure that he understands that there's a difference between me being your dad at home versus your coach at practice or in the game. He knows that there's a rule, like you don't call me dad at practice. You don't call me dad in the game. You call me coach, because I don't want parents, I don't want kids, I don't even want him to feel like there's favoritism based on me being his dad and I'm just fortunate enough to be the coach as well. Like, no, there's a difference. And, he understands he has to work for what he wants. He's not guaranteed a starting spot. So, but yeah, that's pretty much how I got into coaching. Like I said, it just kind of came about, and I just, took on that opportunity. Now, sometimes it can be a lot.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Finding kids and practice schedules and all of the above. So it's not as easy as just showing up to practice, and just coaching kids. No, it becomes a second job, honestly. But I enjoy it, though, because for the sake of my son and even for the kids that we coach as well. So,
okay.
Yeah.
It sounds like you've got this time management thing down to a certain degree. Like, did you got any tips or tricks or advice that you could give to someone that may be in the realm of entrepreneurship that may be struggling with, their time?
I would say planning your day, and I'm not perfect with that, but I do think that planning your day and kind of having a routine that you stick to, even as simple as just like if you go to the gym, going to the gym in the morning, he knows we're there early in the morning. I'm there at 5:30, sometimes a little bit earlier than 5:30, and then, getting the workout out the way. Going and then after my workout at 7, I finish at 7, pick up the kids. Take the kids to school. My wife gets them ready in the morning. I take them to school, and that's just a routine. So it's not even something that I have to. So it doesn't matter whatever is going on. My wife will tell you if we're going to New Jersey for a tournament. Oh, I'm going to the gym. I'm going to the gym at 4, and then we got to hit the road at 7 or whatever, So but just having a routine of things that you do, even if it's reading a book, if it's difficult to read a book in the evening, for whatever knowledge that you're looking for, doing it in the morning, or having a set time throughout the day that you read, or you're taking a walk outside, or if you're in sales, that you're making your sales calls. How are you structuring your day? I think that really matters. And for me, it definitely starts in the morning. I have to get a lot of things done earlier in the morning in order for me to have a good day. Some people, it might work different, where maybe afternoon, or maybe you start your day, at 7. Hey, there's no perfect timing, but as long as you have a plan for the day and you're realistic with that plan too. So, and you push through that, because sometimes things are going to get in the way, distractions that you might feel like are important, but you kind of have to, like right now, my phone is on Do Not Disturb because I don't want my phone to be ringing and I'm checking my phone.
Till noon. My joint is on Do Not till noon.
So because then, then you could drift away from the things that are in front of you that are important or that are urgent. So, but that's my biggest advice, is just coming up with a plan and really sticking with it.
So there is there a morning routine, or not necessarily a morning routine, but more just making sure that you strategically plan.
Yeah, like even with my emails, like my work emails, I don't check my emails first thing in the morning. I mean, and again, it sounds cliche, but like I really don't, because I knew that it could start you off on a bad note, like mentally. Checking your emails first thing, like I wake up in the morning, I'm not gonna sit here and I read every day, every morning. I try to read in the morning. A lot of times I'm listening to audiobooks. If I'm in the car, even on the way to the gym, I'm listening to an audiobook. During my workout, I'm listening to an audiobook. You pull my headphones out, it's not music, right. It's audiobook. So
that's where I'm at. So
it's easier that way.
What are you listening to right now?
The most recent one, Entrepreneur Roller Coaster.
Okay.
By Darren Hardy.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I haven't read that one yet.
Yeah, it's a good book. So it's not my first time. A lot of times with the audiobooks, I'll listen to it more than once. I listened to that actually my first year in business, but sometimes you
definitely got to revisit it.
Yeah, double back or even triple back.
Especially if it was the first year, it's like if that was a tough time, it was like if that got you through some stuff, it was like let me go back, pull out some of them nuggets.
Yeah. There was a 2-part answer to that. I was finishing off with, and I forgot already.
So we were talking about books, talking about reading at a certain time, and being efficient with it. So you actually listen more than you actually read. Now, I do the exact same thing as far as me reading as well. So if I got my headphones, and a lot of times I don't even wear headphones anymore. I'm just kind of in my thoughts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like sometimes it's like put my phone out, like put a few notes in there, because it's like sometimes not allowing outside influences to dictate how my day is going to go, how things are going to go. So
I try not to get caught up in social media stuff, man. It can be draining at times, because everybody's posting things, even on their podcasts like this. People are posting stuff, and everyone wants to kind of take in good advice, but then sometimes you might be taking in advice that's not good,
right?
And so I try to be careful with what I'm listening to, even on social media, because again, not all of the stuff that you're seeing or hearing, no matter how good it sounds, that doesn't mean that is good advice that applies to your life. So,
and it's a fight for me. Is every day, even with that, like I have downtime on all my social media apps until noon. I have to do something productive before I get on social media, unless it's like actually posting to social media. And even with that, it's like,
I know you get the habit of, right? We get the urge to start checking.
15-minute time limit.
Right. Right.
But insurance is I know it's kind of switching gears. We talk about morning routines. I think insurance is one of those things that I know that our generation is not necessarily, I don't know, I feel like not we're near leery of insurance, but we're not as informed as we should be.
Yeah.
Right. So what I would say is there anything that you would encourage, or anything specific about insurance that you could possibly share that would encourage, I would say the millennials? I think Gen X is actually kind of up to speed, but going into this next generation of Gen Z that can kind of change their mind about insurance, or give them a little insight as to the benefits.
I could go on and on and on about a bunch of different things when it comes to the insurance, but I think the main things that come to my mind right away, because we deal with claim stuff on a daily basis. I mean, you'll be surprised how many claims are happening every single day. I'll speak on auto insurance and home insurance and stuff like that first. I would say the vast majority of folks have state minimum liability limits required by state, whatever state they live in. Sometimes, to be honest, I don't blame. It's not their fault. Sometimes it's just, you're kind of ignorant to what you don't know. If no one is taking the time to explain to you the positive or negative impact of having higher limits or having lower limits, you don't know. So you're just like, well, just give me this. This is all I need right here, right? So,
I'm good. Right?
I'm good. And they think that they're good. It's almost like even with death, unfortunately, a lot of times people don't take action on life insurance until somebody close around them passes away. Everyone feels like, well, I'm not going to die right now. I'm going to die when I'm 100. I'm 120. So the life insurance thing, I'll wait until later on. It's like, the best time to get it is now. But going back to the auto and the home, I'm not encouraging you to just get the highest limits, but understanding what you have and knowing that, hey, if you're choosing to get the state minimum, there are consequences with that. If you get into, I mean, you think about, I'll speak for Maryland, state minimum liability limits is $30,000 per person, $60,000 per accident, $15,000 property damage. The property damage is so crucial because the average brand new car is probably like at least $25,000. Property damage, that's damage done to someone else's property. The insurance company will pay a max of $15,000. I can tell you within the last 2 months how many times the other insurance companies have denied or only paid up to the $15,000, and the remaining 10 or to 15,000 is responsible of the insured, and they didn't know that. So, and it's like, I never want that to happen to anybody, whether they're insured with me or not, but it's just a lack of understanding, and then the same thing with the home, people being underinsured on their home. They're trying to get the cheapest quote. And I get it. Everyone wants to save money. I'm not saying go out here and spend an arm and a leg for your insurance, but make sure that you understand the positive and the negative impacts. And that's what I'll say about the auto and fire. And then we say auto and fire, but auto and home, or auto and property insurance. And then life insurance. Getting life insurance. Everyone gets so caught up in the perfect kind of policy that could do this or that could do that. Ultimately, the best kind of life insurance policy that you should have is the one that's enforced when you die.
Especially right now, or, especially with social media and what goes viral when it comes to insurance is, of course, you get to talking about the Rockefellers. And you get to talk about, creating that, the
generational wealth
and the universal banking, like all those things. So it's like, oh man, I'm gonna hold up. I'm gonna set this up. So like I come in fresh out of college. I got a decent paying job. What do you encourage me to get?
I don't really have I'm going to give you a go-to product, but I still, part of our process with our office is still figuring out what's important to you. And I think that matters too, because I can't put you in the category of a bunch of other 21 to 25-year-olds that just fresh out of college, because the goals that you have for your family, right, are going to be different from the next person. But as far as go-to product, as far as just getting something started, a term policy, 20-year term, 30-year term, or even a 10-year term for $100,000, just something. And, again, because getting so caught up on like the perfect policy that's going to do this, that, and the third, and then because you don't think you can, you can pay for that policy at this moment, so you hold off on getting anything and wait, I'll wait 10 years, and when I'm ready, when I get this better job, and it's like, get the term policy. It's not guaranteed, because people think of it's not just about your death. That's the crazy thing about life insurance. It's not about like, oh, you might die tomorrow, but what if your health changes next year? Your health could change in 6 months. That can make you ineligible because you still have to qualify. It's not like auto insurance where you could just go to anybody, the general or elephant insurance, and just get a policy. With life insurance, you have to qualify. So you think hey, I'm young and I'm healthy. That could change in a month. That could change in 6 months. And now the policy that you would have been eligible for, that you would have locked in that rate for whatever time frame that you had that policy, you're not even eligible now. Or the premium is going to be higher based on your health, maybe high blood pressure or diabetes, whatever it is that some individual might have, doesn't make you ineligible, but maybe your premium is going to be higher than the average person that's in good health condition. So, yep.
So I guess I don't really want to dwell in the insurance space. I think that the main thing wanting to get out of conversation is more of the mindset thing. I know that you're 35 years old. You've been in business now for 10 years. Yeah, been in business for 10 years. So insurance for 10 years.
Insurance for 10 years.
You've been in business for 7 years. 7. Did your dad have his own?
He did.
His own. Okay.
Yeah, in Riverdale, Maryland, East Pine Insurance Agency. I remember. He had his insurance agency for quite some time, probably at least 35 years, to be honest. Yeah, at least definitely for a good amount of time. There was probably a little break in between. We're from Nigeria. He went back to Nigeria, take care of his mom and everything like that. So, but even during that time frame, I still think that he still had the insurance agency during that time frame. Yeah,
so you were born here?
I was born here.
Okay.
Born here, yeah, born and raised here. I've been to Nigeria. I actually lived there for about 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, different experience, but I appreciate it now as I'm older. The experience that I had, down there, I kind of got tricked into going. My mom was like, "Yeah, we going to visit your aunts and your uncles." Next thing you know, she like, "Deuces." I'm like, where you going, Mom? Mom, stop playing.
I'll be right back.
Right, I'll be right back. I'll be back next month. I just got to go grab something in the U.S. Next thing you know, 2 years later. No, but I mean, me and my brother, we went at the same time. My younger brother, we went at the same time, and my sisters were already there. They were born here as well, but they went like a year or two before we went. And then we went out there. So all four of us were there living with my aunt. Like I said, it was.
How old were you?
I went there when I was 10.
Okay.
Came back when I was like 12.
So what would you say your biggest lesson would be from your experience being there 2 years? And so your parents were here?
They were here.
Oh,
they were here.
Okay.
They, for real, like, no, for real. They left me out there. They left us out there.
Raised by the village.
Right, raised, seriously, man. And
that's crazy.
That's a famous saying. They say it takes a village to raise a child. And I would say that, again, my aunts, my uncles, other people in the neighborhood, kind of help to raise us. I mean, there's a lot that's different, but can be similar in Nigeria, especially at that time. Even the school system, just that, the school system is definitely advanced. You're ranked, And
wow.
Yeah, from first to and I remember, listen, I came 29th out of 31 people one time. So I had to get my stuff together. But I mean, I'm being honest, my sisters, we joke about that. Like, I remember my first year and I was ranked 29 out of 31 people.
You better not be 31.
Seriously.
You better not be 31.
Seriously, I mean, the discipline, for, just a lot of the things. And that doesn't make it better or worse. You know what I mean? Everyone has their own opinion. But out there, you don't do your homework. You come to class, you don't do your homework. You come to the front of the class, you getting a whooping. Yeah, so yeah, it was serious. So a lot of those things it created the discipline behind those certain things that need to be. I mean,
consequences.
Yeah,
and repercussions to not doing work.
To not doing work. So it kind of forced you. And then again, just aunts, uncles, like anyone could. I'm not encouraging, beatings, but anyone could put their hands on you out there. You can't disrespect an adult, even if they're not your family member. You get slapped in the middle of the street. Bow!
So I feel as though that was a strategic move by your parents. Were you acting up before that? Was there like a level of doing? It sounded like it completely changed your trajectory. Because I'm sure you came back here.
It did.
You was top of the class. I bet it was just
It definitely. And I still wasn't top of the class when I came back here, but it definitely changed it was right away. But like I said, I didn't start to appreciate even just the lifestyle of just living, how you get food. Going to the store, it's not like a normal back then. Not grocery stores. You're going to what is called a market, right? And you're going and you got to negotiate for if the banana is we call it $1. It's not dollars out there, but you're negotiating, trying to get it for 75. It taught me a lot about just understanding people and negotiations and even just appreciation for just how we take showers. It's crazy, just how we take showers. I mean, I used to go to a well to go fetch water, no, seriously, to go get water and bathe myself. So things like that again, we take for granted sometimes. And I'm not saying everybody, but I think a lot of us, including myself, you take those things for granted where you don't realize that some of the luxuries that we have here where people feel like, oh, I'm suffering or I'm and it's like, well, you haven't been to Nigeria, right? And these people are happy. It wasn't like they felt like, oh, my life is no good. They were happy about fetching water. And I mean, you're drinking water. My mom actually had a water
purifier.
We call it pure water, and it was it's almost like a Ziploc bag, and that's how you would get water. So it wasn't in a water bottle, and you would just bite the edge of it and drink the water like that. And it was fresh water. But like I said, it was just things like that. I mean, even the roads, there weren't traffic lights. There was a lot of potholes. There was a lot of different stuff. Like I said, it's improved a lot since then. I mean, that was 20 something years ago, but still, again, learning to appreciate the luxuries that we have here that people take for granted and feel like, oh, I'm suffering, or I'm, this or that. It's like they could take the power at any time. They call it NEPA. NEPA. That's how you spell it, NEPA. And they could take the power. So you could be in the middle watching the show, and then the power goes out. Bloop. That has nothing to do with you paying your bill. You have to have a generator to now restore your power. Like, it's so much that, like I said, that we take for granted of just like
the conveniences of
oh my goodness, yeah. So that's what I would say. It taught me, just helped me to have an extra layer of gratitude. Every day, no matter how tough it is. And it even goes back to your question of like, when you were asking about, did I ever get a chance? Did I ever get to a point where I felt like I wanted to give up? And I wouldn't say that had a whole lot to do with it, but
I can say that it does. I mean, just me looking,
sure. Yeah.
It's just like, this is small potatoes. Like, what I mean? Like, I had to hike, X, Y, and Z. I had to go to had to carry this pail of water, so I'm pretty sure that those experiences definitely fed into today's, I would say, the grind, the hustle that you have.
Absolutely.
And that's just me looking from the outside in, even just, I'm just learning all of this about you. So, I find it, of course, today's society, this level of, gentle parenting, and even me right now, like kind of in a back and forth match with my son. It's like, oh, man, it's like, we were raised different, and it's like I don't want to do him a disservice, of allowing him to kind of like make certain decisions right now. So right now, like, he will be running track this upcoming season. Like, no, it's no longer an option. Like, you're going to continue. Oh man, I don't know what I want to do. Like, okay, this is what we're going to do. Like, we're going to be at these track meets all day.
You start something, you finish it. You start something, you got to finish it.
Right.
No matter how tough it is, you got to finish it. And I think that's good. So,
do you feel as though your son was like more of, I want to play basketball? Or was this something he saw you doing, or was it just kind of
a little bit of both? So his uncle is a YouTuber. He's he played college basketball and he played high school basketball, but he's a YouTuber, and he kind of does a lot for the community, different areas with like one-on-one basketball, and so he goes out different states to compete, so he does that at a high level, which is great. And that kind of, so in addition to, of course, me playing basketball with him, I don't have old highlights from, we didn't have those kind of things, at least back then when I played. We didn't have a whole bunch of highlight tapes and all that other kind of stuff. So, but yeah, the motivation, I would definitely say, came from me, but I think more so my brother, for him to play basketball. And he played soccer when he was young. We started him off because I wanted him to play basketball, how every parent, but I was like, I'm not going to force him into a sport that he doesn't want to play. Like, if he gravitated to football, even though my wife was like, no. Right. But he did flag football. But if he gravitated to football or even soccer or lacrosse, whatever it is, like, we would have supported him 100%. Regardless. But he played, like I said, he played soccer before and he liked it. I don't even know if he really remembers that experience. He was like 3 or 4 years old. It was like entry level soccer. But yeah, with the basketball thing, even when he first started, it's like, yeah, he liked it, but they don't really start to enjoy until they start wanting to do the work themselves, like putting in that work outside of basketball practice and working on their game, and not just working on their shot, but working on their defense, working on their IQ, understanding the decisions that they're making on the court. That's when it's like, okay, cool. Now he's really locked in to this sport or whatever this thing is, because he's asking more questions. Because early on, it was kind of like, he did it, he liked it, but he didn't. I don't want to say he didn't enjoy it, but because and part of it comes with the understanding of the sport, and I think and the longevity of playing it, it could make you enjoy it more or it can make you hate it more. But I say all that to say that, it came from, I definitely say it came more so from my brother, and then he's starting to enjoy it a lot more now. Like, he asked me before I left the house today, like, we going to the court before practice, right? And I'm like, yes, we can go for a few, and I know he's going to text me like around 4, like, hey, we still going to the court, right? But now it's like, that's coming from him. It's not me saying, get off the game, let's go play. He's asking about it. So now it shows me that he's enjoying it a lot more. And,
I know this is going to be a hard one. So is your brother better than you?
My brother? Nope. I hope you're watching this too.
You gonna have.
I hope you're watching this.
You gotta check up, son.
School, you gotta check up. You're not better than me. Listen, he's doing a lot of great things on YouTube, but no, he's not better than me. I'm sorry. I'm still your older brother, and no, you're not better than me. It's funny. We have a game from my son was probably like, he's 11 now. He was probably like 6 or 5. And my brother used to train my son, and right after they were finished training, me and him played one-on-one, me and my brother. And I'm like, check out, we played. I scored the first shot, boom, and then my son is recording using my phone. And I lost.
Went over, knocked the phone out of his hand.
I lost the game. And I remember him hitting the game, my brother hitting the game point, and my son
It was in slow motion.
Man, listen. And my son was over here like, oh, he was like saying something to me about me losing, and I'm just looking at I'm like, oh, you record this? I'm like, oh man, give me the phone. Give me the phone. But yeah, no, I mean, that was a long time ago, so he still got to check up now. But
yeah. So my younger brother is I'm 3 years older than him, and but he's now, well, even in high school, he ended up being taller than me his freshman year. He played varsity his freshman year, and then he wound up transferring to pretty much one of the biggest schools in Baltimore, right?
Okay.
So, when he came to my school, I was a senior, he was a freshman. So everybody, oh man, your little brother, he bigger than you, you better than him. Like, if he better than me, he better than you. Right. Cause I'll be busting your ass.
Right.
So yeah, I get it. You don't never want to necessarily admit it, man. I still, him up like a pair of pants if I need to.
Right.
But it's definitely a pride pill to swallow when you like, you got it, you know what I mean?
Right.
You still had to check up though. You
got it for today, but tomorrow we back at it. Right.
So we were talking about the discipline and, kind of having, I know back then there was a level of like, you had to do this type ordeal, and you said your son is kind of self-motivated through, what he sees, as far as the examples, and it sounds like, he's following dad's footsteps. I don't know if he's going, take on this, but he may end up in the insurance realm.
I know, right? Possibly.
I ain't never doing this.
I'm never doing this. Next thing you know, yep.
No, but what advice would you give to another parent that may be struggling with kind of getting their kids to be encouraged to pursue their dreams? Are you like recommend them to read like certain books, or like what other dynamics beyond the sports are you giving to?
You're talking about sports related, like as far as their child being in
it doesn't have to be sports related. It can be anything. It could be, I mean, I just know from even myself, like I said, having to like kind of, like I know I got that dog in me. You know what I mean? It's like I don't want that to skip my son. So even one of my favorite books right now, I've been over the past couple years at this point, is The 4 Agreements, and it's just like let's be a good person first. You know what I mean? And then on the flip side of it is like every morning before like getting on the bus, and he gets frustrated with me to the umpteenth power, because it's like, oh man, this is corny. Like we do affirmations before you get on the bus. Like, I'm smart, I'm strong, I'm confident, I'm handsome. Like, I'm extraordinary. I'm Maximus David Roundtree.
Yes.
So I would say, are there any tips or techniques that you may use to kind of, I would say, encourage your son if it's the drive, up to Jersey? Like, what is the conversation like?
That, to your point, because that is funny you mentioned that, but that is something that we do every morning. Like I mentioned, part of my morning routine is after I come back from the gym, like I said, my wife is getting the kids ready for school, and I take them to school, right? And then when I'm taking them to school, she's heading to the gym. Long story short, we call her, we're on the phone, 3-way, my son and my daughter, and we say the affirmations, right? So
family affirmation.
Okay. We're saying it together. So we go in rotation of who prays first, right? We're Christian, who prays first, and then from there we go into the affirmations, right? I'm smart, I'm strong, I'm brave, I'm courageous, I'm kind, I'm respectful, I'm obedient, I'm a child of God, I'm happy, I love myself, I love my family, right? All those things. I can do hard things, right? I'm a great person, right? I'm a good listener, blah, blah, and then I'm gonna have a great day, right? So to your point, the little things like that, and sometimes, it's like taking medicine, or taking or drinking a healthy drink. It's not gonna just impact you the first day. You're not gonna be slim the first day, but over time, as you keep doing it, the consistency, it definitely helps. And I think that helps to help them know that we love them as parents, right? And then also that they can do anything they put their mind to, right? So it's, us saying it with them saying it to themselves. I think that helps as well with them just about the hard work. When you work hard as far as the dog, because to your point, right? And I think my generation, when I was growing up is different from his generation. And a lot of times, a lot of these kids are soft. And I hate to say that, but a lot of these kids are soft. And I think it comes down to like what they see in the NBA or whether related to basketball, what they see in the NFL, they look at it as they see Steph Curry shooting those shots thinking, oh yeah, it's I'm supposed to be able to do that. So if they miss one, they're getting so discouraged. And so to the point of even creating that dog within a child, I think when you put in work, when you worked extremely hard, not just tried, me and my son, we have a thing. I'm like, yo, did you try your best or did you do your best? Because if you did your best while you were training, it don't matter if you missed a bunch of shots, but if you went in there and worked hard, those are things that's going to naturally create that dog within you because you worked hard for it. So, when you're on the floor, when you're playing basketball or anything else, when you understand what it takes to go from here to here. Right. You understand that just trying is not enough, that you got to do more than just try. So I think that helps him not just with basketball, but even with schoolwork, where it's like, listen, school comes first. You got to have your education. You got to do your best. You can't just show up to class and think, oh, well, at least I showed up. It's like, no, you got to do the work. You got to do the homework. You can't wait until the teacher, teachers, they give you 2 or 3 chances. We didn't have those. No. You didn't do your homework. No. That's it.
0.
0. They calling your parents, so now they're giving you 3, 4, 5 chances. And I think that's contributing to kids being soft, right? And I'm not going to have a whole debate about that. You know what I mean? Because I understand that there's pros and cons to every decision that is made. So I'm not the person that's saying like, oh, I'm all against it. But I do think that does have an impact on the child, even just being able or wanting to work hard towards something when they know that they're given a second or third or fourth or fifth chance to do that same thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
I definitely think that handicaps them. Definitely handicaps because like, oh, I could just do this. I can try this.
I'm
again.
Gonna get a 4th place award.
Not do it again. I can do this late. You know what I mean? I can just turn this in another day. Or like, no, you got a deadline. Like,
if I'm competing for this, if I know I'm going to get an award, if the 1st place award is this big and the 2nd place is this big, 3rd place is this, 4th place is this big. Wait. 4th place award, then well, I don't have to work as hard because I know that, well, at least I'll still get this award.
Right.
It might not be as big as this, but there's no desire to push yourself beyond what you think you're capable of doing. Like I said, I'm just speaking of sports related, but even with academics, even with any other sports, or even just later on that translate in life in general, try to help them understand even money, money spending and habits. They see me, and my wife, spending like we're not just, no, we're at the, she's at the store buying stuff. Like if the kids are with her or they're with me, just helping them understand, him seeing like, I'm like, no, I'm not buying that one. That one's this one is cheaper, right? Just helping them understand that money, of course, money doesn't grow on trees, right? And, that you gotta work for what you want. And you also don't just spend it. Right. It don't matter how much you're making. If you're a millionaire, I mean, you still got to pay attention to what you're spending, and just all those little things, they kind of add up into one as far as teaching them things at a younger age that's going to help them later on in life.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times we don't, even for me, it's like a lot of things I didn't start learning until I was 18. Yeah. And sometimes it's like, it's still young, but it is a little too late. If they started learning that at 11 or 10 or 7, those are habits that's going to help them when they become teenagers, when they're going out with their friends.
Right, because it becomes second nature.
It becomes second nature.
Right now, it's like, oh, man, trust me, I completely understand. There's a lot of stuff that, I ain't pick up till adulthood. I'm like, yo, if I knew this when I was 11, 12, you know what I mean? It's like, oh man, I'll be so far further ahead than I am. But still grateful for the experiences.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But we'll definitely love the one up, So,
but full circle with that, I would just say, just encouraging them, more often, like you mentioned, you were asking me about going to New Jersey, like when we were, going to a tournament or going to a game. I'm really just asking him how he feels about himself, because a lot of, I don't have stopped now trying to push my expectations on him versus, you know what I mean? Because, again, a lot of parents would do it. Like, it's natural. It's not a pushing your expectations on what it's almost like, if your son is weak or your daughter's weak and you're telling them, be strong. It's like, well, you can't just tell them to be strong. Like, I can't just say, go bench press this 225 if you haven't done it before. So I think, just those expectations of like, oh, you make sure you're going in, be strong, make sure you dribble with your left. If you haven't worked on your left hand, I can't expect you to go out there and do that. So it's unfair. So then now the child feels like they let you down because they're not able to do what you're asking them to do, but we never worked on that.
Right. So that's a big thing. And like I said, in the 4 agreements, it talks about always do your best. Like, this is first and foremost, always do your best. Always do your best. And from that, like, I have to remind myself, like, did I really do my best? Like, it was did I leave anything, on the table or like unturned? I mean, before I decided to, to go another direction. And it's just like, it's a lot simpler than we sometimes we make it out to be. And you said, and I think in this realm of, I would say, entrepreneurship, trying to balance the family and build these legacies. It's critical that we just show up, and we actually show up. We show up each and every day, and we actually do our best. Agreed. I don't really have too much more to ask you in this segment. I'm sure we'll double back around to this on another episode of the Brand Hustlers. My man Felix over here, Flex. It just rolls off the tongue a lot better, I see what he's doing in the gym,
it's one less letter to Oh man.
So, but I truly appreciate your time and
absolutely, man.
And encouraging the brand hustlers. My man, express his hustle comes from wanting to build the generational wealth, build a legacy in which he can either pass down to his children and to his future generations. How can people find you? How can people utilize your services? How can people get in contact with you?
My name on Instagram, my business Instagram name is Mr.insurance __. And then my personal Instagram is really my personal /basketball, but it's Coach Flex. Coach Flex. Yep.
Okay. Yep. Instagram, is there like a website or anything?
Website, phone number, office phone number, right? 410-697-3030. But the website has most of the information as well, address, phone number. So the website is Felix Jr., so JRinsurers.com. FelixJrInsurers.com.
All right, so there you have it, Brand Hustlers. I'm here with my man Felix. I'm not even sure what episode this is of the Brand Hustlers, but we truly appreciate your time, appreciate your insight, your thoughts and ideas on, man, I want to go to Africa now. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you need that tough love that kind of shapes you. But anyways, before we end this, I always have to not end with it, but what do you think when you think the brand hustler, and how would you resonate with that personally?
Brand hustler. I definitely think it has something to do with a brand or helping people with their brand or enhancing or getting their brand out there, and the hustle aspect of just like hard work or dedication towards something. So, but yeah, just if I heard that and did not know it was you, that's probably what I would think. Definitely thinking it has something to do with helping people kind of get their brand out there.
Believe it or not, you are the brand.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The hustle that comes with it. So
absolutely.
That's your boy Ryan Roundtree, also known as Tree the Creator. That's all I got for today, folks. Catch you on the next one.
Yes.
Peace. You've been tuning in to the Brand Hustlers Podcast, the sanctuary for ambition, innovation, and the relentless spirit of entrepreneurship. We hope today's journey has fueled your passion, sparked your curiosity, and given you the insights you need to take your brand to new heights. Remember, every big achievement starts with a dream and the courage to hustle for it. Don't miss our next episode where we uncover more stories, strategies, and insights from the world of business. Until then, keep hustling, stay inspired, and turn your vision into victory. Thank you for listening, and remember, your brand's legacy starts right now.